Hello guys, this is Zeynep from Vacuum Games, one of the co-founders. Thank you for having me. I'm just gonna talk about Vacuum Games a bit and continue from there. So like basically who we are, what we did, and what we do right now. Vacuum Games was founded in 2020 as an indie team, and we built the company at the beginning of this year. We were a small team and started to make hyper-casual games. And thanks to our great publisher, our second try, which is oil well drilling that you see on the screen, managed to get to the top 10 in a short time and got more than 10 million downloads. Like after working on that game for a while, what we did, we sold the game to our publisher and expanded the team. We are 8 people now, and what we do right now is working on hyper casual games and one casual game at the same time. So I'm just gonna jump right into the subject, which is what are the common mistakes hyper casual studios do. And I want to start one of the most important one is not choosing the right publisher. Hyper casual itself has its own subgenres, right? Like, is it a runner game? Is it a simulation game or a puzzle game? So, like, choosing the publisher who has more experiment on your subgenre is uh, really a good choice for you. For example, if you're doing a simulation game and taking it to a publisher who is great with only runners, let's say, uh, there's less chance that they can see the potential. I'm not saying they can't do anything with it, but otherwise things will be faster and will be better for you, in my opinion. And one thing is very important here that I want to point out is being an exclusive. If you decide to be an exclusive with one publisher, I would recommend just try a couple of games with them. So this way they can learn how you work, you can learn how they work, so expectations can be more clear. And so both sides can be satisfied when you sign the contract because you already know each other or start to know each other. So like you are familiar with working styles now. So it's the key. And expertise matters. So like why we work with publishers? When we think we need their expertise, right? Like marketing expertise, data reading, all this knowledge, and so on and on. So like choosing the right genre, subgenre for your game and fitting with the publisher is a really key to the success, in my opinion. So let's talk about another mistake that we do. We are getting stuck with the top charts. So like, of course we should follow the charts, like see the games, colors, trends, and audience, what they like, and what's attractive for them, and also how games are evolving. So, uh, because of these reasons, we have to always follow the top charts. And but what we do as a mistake is getting stuck on the top 20 and like trying to catch up that trend at the moment. But it's already made, and this way you are just missing the catching the next trend. So you should just take a look at 500 and check which ones are going up every day. One of the things that I wanted to mention as well. And the next one is connected to getting stuck with the top chart. So making two similar games. You need to come up with a better idea, like better mechanic. So if you are doing two similar games, they're not gonna be on the chart because it's already taken. Like they're going further and you are just trying to catch them up, but they already moved on to their next project. So you stuck on that chart games and trying to make the similar ones. When you made it ready, CPI already goes up and you don't get the results that you want and you end up dropping the game. So it's just waste of time. In the other one, it's a similar art. Like, of course, we should use assets for fast prototyping, but if it is too similar to other studios' games or arts, it affects the CPI so much. So, like, your at least your main objects should be a little bit unique. You know, like I know it's hard for small or indie developers to make an art from the scratch time to time, but at least change their textures, colors, just do a couple of tiny changes, you know, so it can differ from others. So, like using your own assets on multiple games is of course okay because it's not gonna make the audience feel familiar with it. So if you use the common art too much, it's gonna felt like a copy, and they will. Let's talk about the CPI, for example. They will look at the video and they will say like, "Oh, I've seen this before. Or I played this game before," and we'll just skip it. So, and you are lowering your chance to get noticed that way. So, this is one of the important things that I wanted to mention as well. Similar art. And let's jump to the next one, which is social media trends. Like, not following trends or underestimating them is a very big issue. We have to follow the trends, but at the same time, we have to be aware of not every trend can turn into a game. So, like choosing a trend or and deciding a game based on a trend is a really tricky and hard thing to do. So, like if you focus on a theme, for example, only, and when you start making the game and go deeper, and if you can't find the content and or playable things for your players, you're gonna end up lack of content or repetitive content, and at the end uh, it's gonna be a failure. Not failure, it's gonna be a fail. Yeah. So like but based on trends you can get something and make a really good hit as well. Like when we are on the ideation part, focusing on only theme and not thinking how to make a game from it is a mistake. So this way, like I said, it became repetitive or lack of content, but the games should be scalable. So here's the last one, the perfection, and it's a long subject. Actually, I will try to do my best to touch the correct points as much as I can. So, like, first is we should separate the prototype and product itself. Prototype doesn't require everything in it. So if you start doing your prototype uh, in a way of thinking, if this game gets to the subcharts, we're gonna add store, we're gonna add ads, we're gonna add skins, etc. And if you start working on a prototype with these thoughts, you're gonna get overwhelmed and you're gonna waste lots of your time because you're just gonna focus on all the base and making it a good fit for the future uh, expense. But you shouldn't do that, in my opinion. Just make the base mechanic and have an overlook like of a hyper casual game and just test it. And if you get good results or promising results, just make it better with the iterations and test it again and then again. So in hyper casual game uh, genre, or actually it's applied for all the game types, data talks. So if users love your game, they love it. If they didn't like it, there is no need to push it further or add more and more features to that, because the thing keeps them in the game is the core mechanic at the beginning. So why they want retention? They want retention is very important. So are they staying or not? So focus on that. Like about to visualization. What we are doing is we are developing or designing our games on big screens like our computers, right? So like we are looking at the game and we are seeing some small glitches like lighting or something looks like they should be animated, and we are working on them, and then we are getting a build, and when we look at them on the phone we see almost nothing. So like making visual decisions on the phone is very very important. I want to talk about a mistake that I made back in days and learned my lesson very well. I was doing it. I was making a crafting game, and there was a sewing machine, and I animated its needle. So, like when I get a build and put it on my phone, and I was like, "Oh my God, I worked for it for nothing. Nothing is showing." So I ended up like animating the sewing machine with a cartoonish vibration because I was barely seeing the sewing machine itself. I couldn't even see the needle. So it was funny, and it was the last time that I did such a detailed work for a mobile game. I think deciding on a mobile, deciding visual, like making visual decisions on mobile is very very important. It's just gives you speed, and you really see what's really bothering or what's really not important. It's more clear for you to choose. And also for development, for example, like I mentioned before, thinking about bigger modules which is not needed for testing. So if you think like the the features will be added later at the beginning, then automatically you start to build a base for to be fit for all of them, but it's unnecessary. And for example, if the result doesn't get good, and you did it for nothing. So the hyper casual is a fast phase race, right? So we have to make it as enough as possible. We shouldn't work on the perfection. If we get good results, we make iterations, we make them better, prettier, and think the detailed ones later, and start the code if it gets attention from the start, so we can handle it. So we can just build a base based on the bigger plan after that one. So it was this the perfection is really like getting you slow, and you're ending up in a really really, how to say, like infinite loop, you know. So just focus on the main thing and go to test, and after data tells you what to do, and make your game better every day. So it's as a last slide and end of my talking, I wanna talk about how can we be more faster, you know, since we talked about it's a phase race. Like we have to have some templates or like modules. Like for example, you can't make a maybe template from a simulation game, but if there is a painting module in it, just and can be reused. So do it reusable and use it for your other games when you need it. So you save your time because you already worked on that, and there is no need to write it from the scratch or think on it over and over again because it's ready, it's working. So just use your expertise and uh, apply to your other games. And also another thing is the templates. Like for example, you can create a runner template, and then the basic mechanics doesn't change, right? But if you wanna change, like make a big changes, you can just add on top of it, and at the end, uh, you start faster and you just focus what needs to be changed, and you end up finishing the game very fast and stable as well because there's no bugs because you already worked on that. So that's it for me, guys. Thank you for listening, and I'll be here in a couple of minutes for the live QA session, and hope to see you there, and hope to see you in the panel as well. Have a great week and have a nice gaming. Thank you very much.
All right. So I think we are already live. I think everybody now can see us. So I think we can start from Q&A session. So the first question is, how do we know which model will not affect the CPI?
If it doesn't include the core mechanic, uh, it doesn't matter that much. Like if it's not when you remove it, if in the core mechanic nothing changes, so it means it's an additional module. It doesn't require to be in the test. My idea. Yeah.
Right. Thanks. The next is from Shobit. Yeah. Do we need to perfect the visual details in hyper-casual games? How can I check the matrices for improving the game? Do I need to integrate Unity analysis to Google Analytics or some other analytics?
For the visualization, you don't have to be perfect. Definitely, you shouldn't. Just have an overlook, but the pretty one. Careful with the colors, but not with the shapes that much. You know, have the atmosphere and just go for a test. And the second one was, can you repeat it again, Vlad?
Sure. How can I check the matrices for improving the game? Do I need to integrate Unity Analytics or Google Analytics or some other analytics?
Yeah, it is. I think you should, like all of us should. Or if your publisher agrees with you or shares with you the data, you don't need to do that. But if you wanna look at the data yourself or just log some events for yourself, just yeah, add some analytics and check how the users like what are they doing, why they are leaving, and which on the which part, what's wrong, and what's the average of the FPS performance of your game, and this kind of stuff matters. So you can see the churn result like very well with the basic analytics tools. Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, we have a lot of questions. So the next one already: how much does graphics influence CPI?
Graphics, like I said, like making it perfect doesn't affect, but the colors. Colors is really, really important. And making an overall look of hyper casual, because if you're making a game doesn't look like an hyper casual, it affects the CPI as well. If it's too realistic or if it's not like too cartoonish, maybe it doesn't work. It has already its own style, so it's like catching that sparkle is like important. But like I said, like don't go too much into details, just an overall look.
All right. The next one from Hamzik. I would also like to know your opinion on self-publish for hyper casual games.
Self-publishing requires lots of like money and like burn money, let's say, and you have to test a lot. If you have that opportunity, of course, you can try it and you can hire experts on marketing, and you're gonna get there someday. But you have to aware of it's not gonna be on your first try or like at the 10th try. You're gonna try like maybe at least 100 CPI videos to get that data, like a small one, and then you're gonna move on and uh, be able to get something meaningful from the data and move on to do other projects and use your expertise on that one. So, but I recommend to try that one as well, but not to push yourself too much. Just try a couple of tiny things and see how you're doing. And if it goes well, yeah, why not?
Okay. And the final question, I think, for now: how to judge upcoming trends from top 500s?
Uh, you have to follow them like like almost a week. You have to see which one is going down, which one is going up. So if there is increasing ones, it means they are getting attention, and it has a really potential that it's going to be a trend soon, because it's already in 500. There's thousands of games putting on the store every day. So if it's there and it's going up, there's a spark up for that.
Okay, I think we still have questions, so we will try. Um, how would we know that people have interest to play in that kind of game, particular game?
uh do you mean like, for example, we do how to say, like
Uh,
runner game, and do they love the runner game or not, or our particular game?
uh, I think some kind of game, maybe. Maybe we should wait for the clarification. So now I can just repeat it again as it was said. How would we know that people have interest to play in that kind of game?
You use it on the test, actually. Like CPI shows that if you get like low CPI, it means you're getting attraction and people loves that game. And after the CPI, the other metrics comes in. You check your playtime if they're staying, and you check your day one and day three. It's very important metrics. So it means that, yeah, your game is loved and you can go further from there. Data
Okay,
talks, like I said. Yeah.
great. And the short question: what tool you use to track matrices like CPI, CTR?
Uh, Me, like we are mostly working with publishers, so we are using their own tools and dashboards mostly. But if I would gonna advertise my own game, I would use the original tools of the networks where you do it in Facebook or TikTok or like that. So I wouldn't use any external tools.
Okay, thank you, Zeynep,
Thank you.
very much for your speech and for your answers. Okay, see you
Okay.
soon.
Thank
Bye.
you. See you. See you. Bye.